Sister is 23 and I'm 18. Grandma died 8 years ago and she left more than enough money to pay for all her grandkids' college's educations with a few stipulations: don't get arrested, be a drunk, get pregnant or get someone else pregnant. The money was put into accounts in the parents' names since we were all kids then. In sophomore year my sister got pregnant. Crap hit the fan, panicking about college, the baby daddy left and she hasn't tried to find him or get child support, and the stress from that caused a hard, complicated pregnancy. Both are okay. Mom and dad still let her go to college as long as she didn't have another and maintained a 3.5 GPA. Which she did. She graduated last December with about $2,000 in debt. I figured her money must have been used to help raise her kid and pay for her pregnancy the past 2.5 years, so she had to get a bit of a loan. Which seemed understandable. Boy, I was wrong. I got accepted to my dream college on the other side of the state, but mom kept trying to get me to go to a cheaper one near home, so I don't need a dorm and it would be a cheaper school. I asked her why she was so insistent. Grandma left plenty of money, I thought. Turns out, they flushed all the money that was supposed to go to me down the toilet to take care of my sister and her kid, and her expensive pregnancy turns out was a lot worse than I was led to believe. I broke down and just lost it, crying harder than I ever have. Shouting how they screwed me over and ruined my life for the kid that screwed up. Now I'll have at least $70,000 debt if I go to school. I guess this upset my sister and she asked in a very upset tone if it'd rather her be out on the streets destitute and unable to care for her kid, who she reminded me was a living being, because she didn't have an education and support system, just so I could go on to college and have a good life. I said yes, how it's not fair that she got to screw up, get drunk, and sleep with so many guys she doesn't know who the baby daddy is, something she told me, but apparently not mom or dad, kept breaking rule after rule. Well, I haven't ever even had love with my boyfriend. And now I'm the one that has to be punished for it. Everything just kept devolving into more yelling and fighting until I left. I've been staying with my boyfriend for the past few days. I know with the Rona I shouldn't go anywhere, but I just wanted to be with the one person I feel like actually gives a damn about me. Mom's been texting and calling trying to get me to come home, saying if I can just be reasonable and not vilify my sister we can probably work something out. I told her, unless she has money grandma left for me, don't talk to me until I have my college loans paid off in 50 years. Did I go too far? A lot of it was driven by emotion, but I really feel screwed over here and like I'm being punished despite being the one that followed the rules. Edit. Been texting sister some this morning to try and mend stuff with her since I didn't think mom and dad spending the money was her fault. She was told about it after she graduated and was asked to keep me in the dark. She has offered to pay for a book or two, but not more, since she wants to move out to get out from under mom and dad's thumb. Probably to party again, since she doesn't hide how much she misses it. Edit 2. There was a bit left after sister got done at college and was told about it all. They decide to use it to get her a car so she'd be able to get to work. And she went along with it. Now I'm pissed at all three again. Edit 3. Emailed my copy of the will to the lawyer. He says due to how it was set up he can't be certain right now we have a case, but there's a good shot. Edit 4. Lawyer says they may have violated the trust grandma set up, so he's contacting a trust lawyer friend of his to help make sure he's reading it all right. Edit 5. Auntie got back to me. She's mad at my parents. When she called to see what was going on, all they did was, her words, try to justify it. Turns out dad and mom offered to pay for an abortion, and sister didn't want one. Understandable, I wouldn't either, but still don't always get what we want. And sister thought going on government assistance was trashy and refused. So mom and dad felt like this was the only way to keep her safe. She says they still aren't sorry, and mom said she'd do it again if she had to do it all over. And of course, as you might imagine, they're mad at me for telling people. But since it's just making others mad at them, I'm just laughing at this point. You have every right to be upset. If that was a stipulation of your grandmother's money, then your sister definitely should not have gotten the ride that she did. Your parents should have done something out of their own money if they wanted to, but they should not have put your education and livelihood in the mix. If you have any proof or anything that is exactly what your grandmother wanted you to do, and those are the stipulations on getting said money, then I can get that proof and I start figuring out if you're going to take legal action. I wouldn't have any idea where to start, but your parents most definitely screwed you over and are definitely idiots. Your parents and sister should pay you back without it going to court and you should let them settle. But if they don't, your parents should cough up. They didn't even discuss it with you. It is a terrible thing to steal from your own child, and that is what they did. You aren't being over dramatic. On the plus side, you now know that you can't trust your parents with finances, but you should talk to them about making practical arrangements to pay you back. Also document this for your other siblings. They stole from you and lied. They didn't even try to build the college fund back up. They should have made your sister get a job and suffer the consequences of her actions like a real adult instead of bailing her out with the money your grandmother left you. She should have been the one to go to a school cheaper and close to home, not you. Honestly, I would ask them to take out private loans in their names so the debt isn't directly linked to you and have them pay for your college. My 25 boyfriend Jerry, 31, has a culinary art diploma. He works 2 jobs related to his field, one as a chef in a restaurant and 2 as a cooking instructor. We've been dating for almost 16 months now, by the way. I had no real experience in cooking, but he encouraged me to learn and helped my skills improve, so much even though he has a habit of rating every meal I cook, which I find a bit rude. For example, X meal gets 7 out of 10, or Y meal gets a 3 out of 10, or even Z meal would have got 9 out of 10 if the sauce wasn't so salty, etc. I didn't feel great with him rating my foodnometer the score, but he says he's helping me improve. So my family came over to visit and I wanted to cook their favorite meals. Jerry sat with my parents and chatted till food was ready. He started eating and kept making comments about my choice of meals. Once he put his fork down, he cleared his throat and literally started rating every dish I made by giving me 7 out of 10 for this, 8 out of 10 for this, and 6 out of 10 for this. My family were so confused and I was floored. I felt awful as he kept giving advice on how to improve my score next time. He kept a straight face while doing it. It was awkward, just awkward the entire evening. We had a huge argument after my family left and I told Jerry that he acted poorly and embarrassed me when he started rating my food in front of family. I said to him that I won't have him eat what I cook anymore. He said I was overreacting and claimed what he was doing is just constructive criticism and I shouldn't take it personal since he's just used to rating his students' work. I said I wasn't his dang student and he wasn't Gordon Ramsay to be heavily putting my efforts down in front of family. He got offended and said my reaction was way over the top since he was just giving constructive criticism in order for me to make progress, and said he was trying to help and that Gordon Ramsay comment was totally uncalled for and just a low blow to his abilities as a respectable chef with a respectable career. He then asked what made me think it was okay to come at him like that over few ratings. He stated he was hurt and went to stay with a friend for the night, probably expecting an apology from me. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Congrats, after 16 months you have learned that your boyfriend is the idiot. I love it when people think they are being helpful by giving unsolicited criticism and are clueless on how arrogant it is. Plus, this guy wants an apology from you. This would be the tipping point for me in a relationship. This guy is 31 and won't be changing to be more self-aware, more sensitive anytime soon. If you didn't ask for his constructive criticism, which apparently you never did, that's just him being an obnoxious judgmental idiot with a superiority complex with food, just because that's his work field. I would definitely refuse to ever cook for him, especially since he's that good he can cook himself and would most certainly judge his food. Once he get a Michelin star, maybe he can talk crap. Definitely not the idiot. Not the idiot. So he can dish it out, but can't take it. Frankly, I would pack up all his belongings and have them ready for him to pick up by the door. Do you want to be treated like that for the rest of your life? If you ever have children, do you want your children to think that behavior is okay? The only way to even consider taking him back is under the requirement that he is the sole cook in your household. After all, that seems to be the only thing he is good at, since he feels a constant need to tear you down while trying to build himself up. My wife is all things I've ever wanted, but she has what I consider to be a serious character flaw. She tells me about plans she has made for us or for herself at the 11th hour. Allow me to explain. We went and saw Dune at 9 p.m. last night, so we didn't get home until after midnight. I wake up early, get my Saturday rolling, and had the expectation of heading to my buddy's house to help him install some new gutters for his house. Shouldn't take more than a few hours. About 25 minutes ago, my wife, who just woke up, texts me and says, "Hey, don't forget we have to take family pictures at 2 p.m. and need to leave by 1:30. I rush home and I'm like, what's this? Why didn't you tell me? She says, I forgot to tell you earlier, but I told you as soon as I woke up. Had to tell my buddy I couldn't help him. A week or so ago, she does the same thing. My mother usually cooks a big meal for my wife, my kids, my stepdad and a few close family friends once a month on a Saturday, and so that Wednesday I told my wife, she was like, yeah, that's fine. Then on that Saturday I said, so we should leave here to get to my mom's at 5:30, right? And she said, oh, I'm going to a concert with friend's name here, she invited me last night and I forgot to tell you I was going to go. It's not that she's going. I don't care if she's going, it's that these things never seem to be brought up until the absolute last minute and my wife says, I just don't know why you get so upset about this. I literally forgot about insert thing she's decided to do at the last second, and I'm telling you, as soon as I remembered. Not the idiot. People not being respectful of others' time is a huge pet peeve of mine. It's so inconsiderate and rude to repeatedly not communicate plans that affect not only herself but others. Since she has a pattern of this, she's clearly a self-absorbed jerk, and I have no idea how you've dealt with it for so long. With technology, calendars, reminders or whatever other systems of convenience we have in place, there's literally no excuse for her because. Not the idiot. I also find it so irritating when people don't tell me when the plans are made. Like if you forget to tell people later, why not just send a text the moment the plans are made when they're fresh on the mind? That said, this sounds like a situation where you might want to take an inventory of when she does this. If she's double booking herself due to forgetting plans, then she's less of an idiot and just needs to get some better memory habits in place. If she's mostly just making plans over only your plans, then she's being a disrespectful idiot or making weird power plays. She needs to grow up and communicate, and you need to not cave. Follow through on consequences. Like the pictures, if you told her your plans to help a friend, don't rush home, do the task and miss the pictures. This situation won't change unless you both actively work on it. If you don't, this will be your life, ad nauseam, forever. Yes, you are deeply in love and losing sight of yourself. Stop the chaos. This repeated behavior is disrespectful. My sister is getting married in a few months. She asked our dad and mom's husband to walk her down the aisle and share the father and daughter dance with her. Mom left dad for her husband when I was 6, my sister was 7, and our brother was 5. It devastated dad because he worked so damn hard and thought he had a happy marriage. Instead, his wife was cheating with a guy at work and ended up married to the guy. I never liked how things happened and will be honest, I have never given my mom's husband much of a chance. I never really saw my mom the same way again either because of how she handled it. But my sister loves our mom's husband and considers him a second dad. So what happened is she told our dad they were sharing the role and he was all okay, but then she asked him to put aside his hard feelings and not just share that but deliver a toast with him, spend the morning getting ready with him to let her have both of them there in those moments. She also wanted him to pay for a joint party, sort of like a second engagement party where they share the spotlight on dad's dime. He told her no. He said he loves her. He had to accept she loves mom's husband. But he still hates mom and mom's husband for what they did, and he cannot say he would be good company if he has to spend all that extra time with him. She called him selfish and said he should appreciate that mom's husband was a good father to us. When dad wouldn't give in, she asked me to talk him around. She said if not for me, then for a man who only won over one of his 3 stepkids and he will only get one's chance to be included as a father and get this kind of love. I told her I loved her, but what she is asking from dad goes above and beyond, and I would not try and talk him into doing this. She told me I was hurting her. I told her she was hurting dad. That she was entitled to love mom's husband, to want what she wants, but she cannot honestly expect dad to just be okay with all this, and she cannot expect me to force his hand. She called me an idiot and said I am letting dad make this about him instead of her. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Your sister is a piece of work. It sounds like she took after your mom, unfortunately. Your father isn't a prop for her perfect day, or whatever she's trying to treat him as. It sounds like he tried to be gracious enough as it is. She's asking him to be in an uncomfortable spot and asking you to facilitate, putting you in an uncomfortable spot. No one owes her this, wedding or not. Not the idiot. You put up a clear boundary that you're not getting involved in this. It's not your place to talk your dad into it, and it's an unfair expectation your sister is putting on you. Your dad said he was uncomfortable and said that he wouldn't be good company in that situation. To me, he's making it about your sister and making sure something like that doesn't upset her big day. Your sister is being a bit selfish. Both men should be there if that's what she wants, but she shouldn't force either of them to share the spotlight if it makes one, or both, uncomfortable. Not the idiot. Your sister is either naive or selfish. I would give her the benefit of the doubt and explain to her that she is naive to think that just because she has a particular relationship with her stepfather, that she can expect others to swallow their pain for her. She doesn't get to live her fantasy by forcing others to live painful moments. I'm currently attempting to divorce my husband. This has been going on for over a year and we have made zero progress. My husband has one of the top divorce attorneys in our area. I was hoping for a quick divorce, and my friend asked me to consider her husband, since he has a good track record, and this could also help his career. After speaking to him, he seemed to understand what I wanted from the divorce, so I agreed to hire him. Well, that was a mistake. He has been utterly useless. My husband and his lawyer are running rings around him, and his strategy is essentially to just lay there and take it. He kept insisting he had a plan, but he has made zero progress in the year plus he has been working on my case, and always makes excuses about why we can't force my husband to sign something, or why we can't speed up the process. I finally had enough after he agreed for us to meet my husband and his lawyer for dinner so we could come to an agreement. I thought the entire thing was weird and unprofessional, but he kept telling me that this was his goal from the start and that we finally had them where we wanted them. So, I went, and he did absolutely nothing. He sat back and let me do all of the talking and never once intervened when my husband and his lawyer were making threats. Honestly, it felt like he was just fronting to my husband and his lawyer the whole time and had completely forgotten I was his client. I was so frustrated with everyone that I turned to my lawyer and told him he was weak and spineless and that he should consider a career change. A few hours later my friend was sending me angry texts for embarrassing her husband and for firing him. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. He had a job to do and didn't do it. Why should you be expected to keep throwing money into an incompetent pit? As I'm sure you know by now, you shouldn't have agreed to let your friend's husband be your lawyer. It's always a bad idea to hire a spouse or sibling etc. of a friend. Tell her you firing her husband shouldn't reflect on your relationship, but he wasn't doing his job and you simply had to put your foot down after a year of very unsatisfying work from him. Not the idiot. Last time I checked, lawyers are supposed to work for you. Obviously this one wasn't, so you disposed of his services, not seeing the problem here. My mom had to get a new divorce lawyer after hers kept telling her all this bullcrap about how she'd lose custody of us kids, we were late teens, have to pay him a large sum of money to make it fair, and so on. Turned out her lawyer, or should I say former lawyer, was actually looking to get a job with my dad's lawyer's firm. Her new one got her the deal she deserved. Not the idiot. Yes, you could have told him privately, but if he doesn't want to actually help you and put the work in and sits back whilst your ex is making threats, then I guess he deserved it. So what if it embarrassed him? He's not doing his job. It might have been a bit harsh, yes, but who cares when you're actually paying for him to do a service he's not fulfilling?